Hello everyone, this is Tim, and I got a message from one of my subscribers, GoArtNow98, and he wrote, "Just wondering if you ever crossed rules from one game and put them into another. Just an idea if you want to do it for a video." So I had some time. The wifey's actually taking a nap on the couch, and it's like, I don't know, it's almost 11 o'clock, so I figured I'd give just a quick video. So I was thinking a little bit about what games I've blended together, and I've said it before in lots of different videos. Any game pretty much of the D20 family, like 3rd edition, 3.5, 4th, Labyrinth Lord, any of the retro clones, Pathfinder. In my opinion, those games really are just a big pool of optional rules, and it wouldn't be very hard at all to make your own, like Frankenmonster RPG, where you basically just pick and choose what rules you like. It's sort of like a salad bar or an a la carte kind of thing. You just make your own game. Sure, it takes a little bit of work. For those people out there that like to tinker, like myself, I'll sit down and think about house rules for a campaign. And in my mind, you really want to try to bring out the setting. And sometimes rules, tweaks help with that. If the magic is different in that setting, twisting the magic so that it isn't, Vancian magic, for instance, that would be a good house rule if that's how the setting is portrayed. I'm going to go through and just talk a little bit about some of the things I've mixed together. I ran a lot of 3rd edition 3.5 back in the day. Pretty much played it since 3rd edition came out. And after a while, combat was pretty much D&D combat, and we wanted to do something different. And I had started pretty much my first real heavy RPG was Rolemaster, and Rolemaster had a book called Arms Law. And there are different charts for each weapon and what kind of different damage it does versus different types of armor and so forth. So it was a little involved, but I found this nice website online that pretty much translated the Rolemaster critical charts into D&D terminology. So there was bleeding damage, and we incorporated things like stun. So combat was a little bit different, and that's what we wanted because we had played so much 3rd edition 3.5. We wanted something different, something to change. So all the different critical tables on the back of each weapon was very interesting, and I've always loved them. I'm more of a rules-light guy now, so Rolemaster is kind of tough for me to get back into, but I really had a lot of fun with the different critical results, and, if someone breaks your leg or the sword goes through your eye, all kinds of things like that, kind of Warhammer-esque. So I did a lot of those things with one campaign, and this is probably the biggest mixture of things that I've done. I took the Midnight setting, which I still owe Ander. I still need to put that in the mail. Sorry about that. Which is a D20 product by Fantasy Flight Games. And for the main engine, I pretty much used Vampire the Masquerade, Old World of Darkness, D10 dice pool, and I basically based the system off of this. So you have the Midnight setting, you have Old World of Darkness rules with some D20 elements in it, and then for magic, because I just couldn't leave well enough alone, I put some high adventure role-playing H.A.R.P, which is a game put out by Iron Crown Enterprises. So that was a very interesting game because no one had really played with those three mixtures of things, and it was a lot of fun for me. It gave me something to do when I was bored, just trying to figure out how I would do it. I came up with some sort of mathematical equation to figure out how a D100 system like H.A.R.P could be translated to a D10 dice pool. I believe I had a number of dots equal to a number of ranks in that. Each spell was its own skill, and they pretty much had to sink XP into each skill, which was a spell in the system. So I did a little bit of that. Some other things that I've done, I'm currently running Labyrinth Lord, which is a basic and expert retro clone, like old school classic Dungeons & Dragons. And I've imported elements from Lamentations of the Flame Princess. I really like their D6 skill system. It's more, I don't know, it's very, very rules light, it's very easy, flexible. I sort of like that a lot. Also the way they handle equipment and encumbrance in Lamentations of the Flame Princess is really amazing. If I would start the game over again, I might start with a different game. I've also incorporated some Dark Dungeons, which is a retro clone of Rules Cyclopedia. And as I was saying at the beginning, these are D20 games, so they're not that hard, and especially like the old school Renaissance games, it's not very hard at all to mix them together because they're very similar. So I really have done this a lot. So I guess my question to anybody that's watching this, have you ever made your own Frankenmonster RPG? And what I mean by Frankenmonster is where you take, a bunch of different games that generally don't go together and smash them together, house rule the crap out of them. One is pretty much like the chassis, and then you start bolting different tires on. You want a cannon on top, so you go to Savage Worlds or something, and bolt like the card initiative system. I've used the card initiative system from Savage Worlds and many different RPGs because I think it's fun and fast. And just less paperwork and upkeep, and it's not that hard to hold your action, that sort of thing. So, have you ever done that? Have you ever taken various RPGs and mashed them together? I know that Brady pretty much has a game that's just a series of house rules and different editions of AD&D, D&D, etc. Basically, whatever fits his game, that's what he uses. So yeah. Have you ever made your own Frankenmonster RPG, and what games did you use to basically make that creature? Alright, see ya.